What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. The weather is nasty, it's cold, and I just wanted to come and hang out with you guys for a bit. I ain't really got to shoot the content that I want to be shooting because of work and the weather, but we'll get there. Y'all just bear with me. I hope we can make this channel grow. I figured I would just, take some time while I'm here waiting in the car just to talk to y'all and chill for a bit. I'm gonna tell you a story. About 5 years ago, a buddy of mine, I was staying with my mom and dad at this point, helping my mom because my dad had been real sick and had to have several surgeries, and we almost lost him several times, and it was just a bad period at that time. So I was staying there helping them, and a buddy hit me up and he was like, "Hey, can you help me change the rotors and the brakes on my truck?" And I'd been friends with this boy since fourth grade, so I mean we were pretty good buddies. And I was like, sure, And so he comes out, and what I thought was just going to be like brakes and rotors ended up being brake lines, rotors. It ended up taking. We started like 10 o'clock that morning, and it ended up taking till like 7 or 8 that evening. But throughout the day, I had jacked up the truck on the first 3 tires and scotched it and knew that it was safe. And I had been working on those, and I mean, he would help, there was intervals where he was helping me. But, yeah, one thing led to another, and several trips to a parts store, yada yada. We had, it ended up taking us, till dark. Well, about dark, we're on the last tire, and he had jacked the truck up. This one time he jacked it up was on this last tire, and he was going to do the work on this one. And I was cleaning up stuff, and, my daddy came out and I was talking to him, and so he jacks it up and he gets the brake pad stuck in the caliper somehow. And at this point in time, we had been on this stuff all day. I was ready to be done, getting just wanted to do something else, ready to do something fun or whatever. Well, he gets the brake pad stuck in the caliper and asked me if I could help him get it out. And I didn't think at this point to check and make sure that the truck was scotched up or blocked up. My fault, my mistake, and I paid dearly for it. I come over to help him, and in my ignorance, the truck was jacked up. I mean, it was a 1500 Dodge Ram, like a 2014, 2013, something like that. But it was jacked up, and it had a little bit of a lift. So, I mean, it was probably, well, the tire was off, so I mean, the rotor was probably, I don't know, a foot off the ground, maybe. Maybe a little more, 1.5 feet. Well, I was in a hurry, when he got this stuck. I was a bit agitated, in a hurry, and so I got up under the fender well with the tire iron, and I was just going to get it in there, and pop that brake pad out. Well, by the time, I don't know why I was so ignorant in doing it this way, or why I even thought that this was okay, but I got up under the fender well of this truck, to where I could see what was going on, because it was dark and it was hard to see with a flashlight. And I never checked to make sure that the truck was scotched. And no sooner than I barely got the tire on and try to pry out that brake pad, the truck kicked off the jack. And I had my leg folded up and under my other leg, and I wasn't paying attention to where it was, and it was directly underneath the rotor. So the truck kicks off the jack, comes and lands straight right down on top of the side of my left knee. I mean, exactly on the side of my left knee. And of course, I'm screaming, cussing, like, telling him to help me get it off and everything. Well, my buddy's, he's prying up on the fender well. I'm trying to lift on the rotor, trying anything just to get it off my leg, because I was almost convinced that my leg was going to be cut in two, because it was a big truck. Like, how, well, with me and him, I guess, lifting on it, the truck shifted weight and slid the rotor slid forward off my knee, and I was able to get out from underneath it. And it seemed like an eternity, but it was probably, this all happened in about 15 seconds probably. Well, the truck gets off my leg. I slid out from under the truck. I was afraid to look down, afraid to see what was going to happen. Of course, adrenaline was pumping. And I laid there on my back for a second before I'd sit up and actually look at my leg, because I didn't want to see, how bad it was going to be. Like, I figured I was almost in shock or something. But I sit up, and I look down, and there's nothing wrong with my leg. I had a scratch about this long and a little knot about that big around. And, sorry. Anyways, we get back, I try to stand up. After I look down, I see that my leg's not, it's almost normal, which is mind-blowing to me, because I figured it was going to be almost cut in two, because, them rotor edges are pretty sharp. Well, I literally had one little scratch about that long, and like I said, just a little bitty knot. So we go back, trying to get this tire, got up, went straight back to working on the truck. Well, about 30 or 45 minutes later, we had it done. We was putting tools up and stuff. And I went to walk around the front of the truck, and I noticed that something didn't feel right in my knee. Of course, I hadn't paid no attention to it after the fact. I just went on with it. I've always been that way. I've got a high tolerance to pain. But I noticed that something didn't feel right. So I, got in the light and looked down, and within that 30 to 45 minutes, my knee itself had swollen to about twice its normal size, and it started to get bad. I went back to my buddy's house, chilled out the night with him, staying at his place. Was able to go there, take a shower, get cleaned up, and then had to go to the emergency room, because my leg ended up swelling to about 5 times the normal size, and it bruised from the tips of my toes all the way up to my family jewels, all the way around my leg was black and blue. At the emergency room, the doctor said, he couldn't do an MRI, but he was about positive that the impact had blew out my MCL. And it was horrible. Now, given that, that something like this happened to me, and, you could lose your leg easy from a truck weighing that much, 4,500, 5,000 pounds, if that much. I mean, it could weigh more. But yeah, I went to the emergency room that night. My legs swelled up about 5 times normal size. The scratch that was this long ripped into a gash that was like that long and about that wide and about that deep. My leg swelled so much that it ripped the muscle. It got really bad. And it was probably one of the more horrible experiences of my life. I've had a lot of injuries, broken bones, like I said, and this one was traumatizing, because to this day, like, I didn't go to a doctor to get it fixed. I went to the emergency room at one time. That was it. 2 weeks later, I slept on a knee brace, and I was out in the middle of the river that I almost drowned in, wade fishing. That's been my pain tolerance. Was that smart? No, not at all. Because I should have given my leg time to heal, because now I have hardly any stabilization in that leg. Like, that knee's just, the leg works and everything just fine, but it's not what it was, if that makes sense. And I wish that I could show y'all the pictures of this, because you have to see it to really believe, like, how big my leg swole out to be. Like, I was bruised from the tips of my toes, like I said, up to my family jewels for like at least 4 weeks, all the way around my leg. And it's still not the same as it used to be. It probably never will be. But I wanted to share this story with y'all to be like, please, if you're ever working on vehicles or getting under vehicles, please make sure that you scotch them, block them up. Don't just trust in a jack. Like, I would never do that personally, ever, but I was in a hurry. I was rushing, and I paid for it. I did. I paid dearly. Now, in the end, I'm a lot more cautious because of it, but it could have been bad. It could have cut my leg straight in two. Because, I mean, the rotor of that truck is what come down on my knee, right on the side of my knee. And it was probably one of the more traumatic experiences of my life, to be honest. But please, anytime you're working on vehicles or, you're getting under vehicles, please make sure you got them blocked up, scotched, anything to keep them, if that jack fails, anything to keep it from coming down on you, because, I mean, what if I had been laying on my back or something under there and, had some part of my stomach under that rotor or something without paying attention and it come down? It would have killed me probably, you know. So, yeah, I just wanted to share this story with you guys because it happens to people every day, I'm sure. But it can be prevented. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for today, guys. It's my girlfriend's birthday, so I'm not going to make this a long one. But I hope y'all enjoyed the story, and if you enjoy the content, please hit that notification bell, like and subscribe, and help me grow this channel because I believe it can become something great. And I'm going to put my all into it. I promise you that. I love you guys. Have a good one, and I will see you soon.